I am back in effect. Oh my God, y'all. Just watching some of the footage from this protest going on in LA. Forgive me for my rudeness. How y'all doing this evening? I hope everyone is safe. I just had to put the title out there because I was waiting for the Marines to come out. I was just waiting for the Marines to come out, y'all. It made me feel so much better to see that they called in the Marines. America has really truly been kind. Even though we have our problems here in America, but it has truly been kind. Like any other country, the stuff these people were doing out there calling themselves protesting, that was not protesting. That was vandalism, crime, you know, um, very radical terrorism, vandalizing property, throwing rocks and stuff at the police, and just doing things that should not be tolerated in a country where you said you come for your freedom and your rights, and you're fighting for, you protesting peacefully. That's not peacefully protesting, y'all. I'm so glad to see that black people did not get in this because, we always get into everybody else's business and we end up getting the rough end of the stick. So I'm glad to see that we stood down and just watched, because every time you see things like this, it's not for us to get in. It's just not. We got our own issues we dealing with. We still dealing with trying to fight to get our reparations or whatever that is due to us. And when we protest during the civil rights and everything, we didn't act like this. We didn't vandalize property. We didn't, burn the American flag. And these people were doing just too much. But let me play the video for y'all this evening. And I was up there saying, to my husband, I said, look, I hope they hurry up. And he said, bring in the Marines. I was like, yeah, bring the Marines in. They ain't going to mess around. They ain't going to mess around no more. They getting quiet. They going home. They getting away. Because I'm going to tell you right now, when the Marines come out, that means that they not going to arrest you. Okay? It's not going to be an arrest. It's going to be bloodshed. Okay? When those Marines come out, they don't play. Now, they were vandalizing federal property while the National Guards was standing there, and because first they was throwing rocks at the police, and they were being very aggressive, and so the police after that, then they sent in the National Guards, and then the National Guards came in. They still were carrying on. They still carried on doing what they do, blocking up highways and burning cars and flags and putting graffiti on buildings and stuff like that. See, that's the difference we got to look at ourselves as black American people. We we did not act this way when we felt like we were being oppressed and being treated unfairly in the government here. There, he sent out 700 Marines and 2,000 more National Guards. Wow. Yep, that's right. That's right. This is an invasion. This is not no. To me, this is not no thing about illegal immigrants being here or immigrants being here. It's nothing wrong with immigrants being here. Of course, America is open to, people that come here for a better opportunity and everything. But these people come in here committing crimes. They just showed you all of that during this so-called peaceful protest. If you in another country and people welcome you in, you show your kindness, and kindness and everything else like that. This is not the way to behave. Yes, you can have your protests and ask for things to be granted to you, that you might need and stuff. But these are not, most of the people that's doing this are not really the immigrants. It's the illegals. It's a difference. These are not the immigrants. These are not the ones who came here for a better opportunity. These are just people that are working through some agency. Somebody is funding these agencies to get these people out here to be the ones to instigate and to cause all this trouble. causing all these problems. That's probably why they didn't get so, aggressive. They just arrested people. But the people that's actually doing it and not really truly the ones who are here working hard, paying taxes, building their lives, and taking care of they, for their life, for their families, and everything else like that. This is not about those people. This is about the ones who come in here breaking the law, and they demonstrated all of that this weekend when they started this foolishness. And I'm glad they brought the Marines in, because it looks like everything is getting so much calmer now. But I'm gonna show you the video. I'm gonna share this video with you. I'm watching live with Agenda Free channel, I think it is. But I'm gonna share the video so y'all can, see more of what I'm talking about.
Acoustic device. Wikipedia describes it as a sound cannon, specialized loudspeaker that produces sound at high power for communicating at a distance. It has been used as a method of crowd control. So,
yep, it looks calm now because the Marines are out there. I'm telling you, the Marines don't play.
They say it can cause permanent hearing damage. So they all went through, but
they can wave their signs.
They didn't clear the area because there's people in the area again. So I don't know maybe it was like a show of force just to let people know you got to go home.
Oh yeah.
But there's still people in this intersection here.
The Marines are out there.
No, I think I just heard some sort of, maybe a flashbang or something, possibly. Now there's people down there. Wonder if the cameraman will walk down there.
Yeah, them homeless people want to get back on that street and sleep.
Hey, a quick thanks to
disrupting those people's rest.
On one of the overhead shots that I'm looking at, I'm looking at an overhead shot on Fox 11, and they are showing First Street and San Pedro and police clearing people from the whole intersection at First Street and San Pedro. I can see it on Fox 11. So that is happening in a different part of downtown. Big line of police clearing people from the intersection. That's at First and San Pedro.
America been good, because if they would have been doing this in some other foreign country, they would have been dead. They would have been dead. For real, for real, for real. They better appreciate America, because America's truly been good to them. How you come in another country waving your flag and burning the American flag? That's an invasion. That's a disrespect to America, and graffiti and vandalizing. You would have been somewhere in the Middle East somewhere. They would have already killed you. They would have shot you down.
Which is not that far from here, right? Yes. First in San Pedro is not far from here. Because we were just at Temple in Maine. Yeah, First in San Pedro is 2 blocks from here. 2 blocks from here, police are really clearing out the whole area. I'm watching it on Fox 11 on their overhead shot on YouTube.
They graffiti,
and that's about 2 blocks from here, and they are just on the sidewalk, on the street. They're just clear. They're pushing up and clearing everybody out. So you can check out Fox 11 for that, but that's what they're doing a couple blocks away. And they're not letting people stay on the sidewalk. They're just clearing out the whole thing. So I wonder if they're just going to like clear out a huge part of downtown and just not let people come in. I'm not aware that there's been now people are running on the Fox 11 stream, running away from police, I believe. But I don't know that there's been a curfew issued. I haven't heard that they've declared all of downtown an unlawful assembly. But there's a police several blocks away on First Street, pushing people up the street, running after people. So big show of police force downtown right now in LA.
Hey Frankie, good evening. I'm glad you made it in here.
Yeah, guys, I can't steal everything off the internet that I want. I can only show you what I have the rights to. KCAL is showing a big police presence. I believe it's in Santa Ana in Orange County. If you go to KCAL on YouTube.
They shouldn't even be allowed to walk around with a mask on their face.
That's from, again, KCAL on YouTube. So this camera's getting close to that police line now.
They waving their flags around here and everything. Won't you just go back to your country? That's your patriotism.
Now this intersection is...
This is America first, baby.
Couldn't see. Main Street and something. It's Main Street and something.
You see like that family that just walked with the baby and everything? It's not like attacking families like that. These are working class people, and they going to work and they taking care of their families and they trying to live peaceful. We talking about the radicals, you know, those kind of extremists like that. That's who ICE is coming for. They're not just coming for anybody.
That is CHP California. Well,
these are the
that's
people that went through the
California
process.
Highway Patrol. It says California Highway Patrol. Maybe. I see CHP.
And the
it is California Highway Patrol.
Ain't playing. That governor should be ashamed of himself. You mean how these people were carrying on like this and you didn't call in the National Guard? Destroying people's property and vandalism.
I was trying
and the
to figure out
president had to
Main
just go
Street
and do it himself. They're trying to make Donald Trump look so bad, like he's the one who's doing all of this. He didn't want to have to do this. It's them Democrats. That's embarrassing.
People walking over there.
They invaded this country. I'm so glad the Black American, that's all I'm saying. I'm just so glad we stood down, you know? We didn't get ourselves caught up in all of that nonsense. So it don't look like it's us. These people waving the Mexican flag. They're getting too bold.
Oh, now they're on the move.
You go in Russia, one guy was talking about Russia, the USSR. I said, you would have done that in Russia, please. They would have been on and shot you down. You would have done something like that in Russia, boy. They would have ooh.
They're putting on masks now. They're putting on masks. I think it might be Main and First. Is it Main and First? Yes, this is Main Street and First Street. It is Main Street and First Street. That is where it is in downtown LA. And it is looking to the...
America has been too good. We make ourselves look too soft.
Looking to the southwest. Well, it was looking to the southwest. This point, it's looking to the northeast.
She waving that American, that Mexican flag like that. They should snatch her right now. See, America, you know, that shouldn't even be allowed.
AZ Intel posted a clip from CBS News of the protest there with tear gas being deployed in Santa Ana, California. I just posted AZ Intel's
trying to tell them
post
to go
in
home.
the chat.
They get crazy tonight, boy. It's going to be on. It's going to be FOFA. FAFO. It's like terrorism. They put graffiti, they broke out windows. They did a lot.
So again, tear gas has been deployed in Santa Ana, California, in Orange County, in Southern California, outside a federal building.
Yeah, that's a federal building. They protecting the federal building, and they making sure that civilians, the citizens or whatever that's walking, don't get harmed in all of this.
Thanks so much to Maga since 1492. Maga since 1492. Kitty Lover. Sisyphus.
Yeah, you got to be very careful how you start using military force because you don't want to hurt the civilians.
Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, Bent Out. Thanks, Zippity Doodah for the memberships. That's very nice of you. Ivory John
they said Dallas
on Twitch.
protesters.
John
they got a protest
Twitch.
going on in Dallas now.
Are there going to be more protests tonight? Again, it does look like a much more organized, forceful police response downtown in LA today than yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday seemed at times disorganized, at least to my amateur eyes. But this seems more forceful today, and maybe they've resolved not to do things to not let what happened yesterday happen again, or try not to.
Oh, they're not going to play today. They're going to be like this. I heard it's going to be for 60 days. Throughout the summer. The governor for Texas ain't going to stand for this. I know that's right. They tried it in New York today. They was doing their thing in New York today.
There's some people protesting in Austin, Texas as well. That's going on.
But they not doing the stuff they were doing out there in South over there. They were just ridiculous. It's peaceful out here where I'm at. How's it out there? Let me know in the chat. How's it out where you at? That's scary. I saw in some part of California was Mexican girl and some of the other Mexicans. They were beating up on the girl. She was telling them and everything. She was against the illegals, I guess, and she's one of the ones who's here legally. And they were fighting. They ran her with a bike. They ran into her with a bike. They was slapping her. They was hitting her. They was doing all kind of things to this poor Mexican girl.
I think down the street is the LAPD
She was fighting though.
Down the street too. Yes. So guys, the building on the right. The building on the right is am I right about this? Let me check. We'll double check. I think it's LAPD headquarters. I think. According to the map I'm looking at, it is. Some of our viewers are saying, yes, that is true. The building, look at all these
Look at the Marines.
But, so, there's a big police presence at the LAPD headquarters. This is on 1st Street and Main Street.
When the Marines are out there, boy. Good, you peaceful out where you at. Good, Frankie.
Now, KCAL is showing an overhead shot somewhere where protesters are near police. Where's that at? KCAL helicopter shot. I'm looking at it right now. No, or is that earlier? Or is that from Santa Ana? KCAL is showing 3 things on the screen. And is one of them at Santa Ana? I think maybe Santa Ana they're showing. At a federal building there. I don't have a live stream from Santa Ana. If I did, I'd show it to you.
They ain't gonna break out no more riots because
But it doesn't say Santa Ana on the screen. It says downtown LA. So now I'm confused. Is it a different building in downtown LA?
No protest should go on all night.
Some people say they are watching a Dallas protest.
A Dallas protest? Let's find that out. You think I could find that here?
I think the KCAL one thing might be. I'm looking at the KCAL news and it says downtown LA.
Let me see if I can find a Dallas protest.
So where is that at? Oh, it is there. Okay. 1st Street and Japanese Village Plaza Mall. So this is 1st Street. So how far away is that? On KCAL, they're showing a bunch of protesters at an intersection at 1st Street and Japanese Plaza Village Plaza Mall.
And now 700 U.S. Marines will be deployed as well. U.S. Northern Command says they're trained in de-escalation and crowd control.
Trump and Hegseth jumped from 0 to 60. They threw caution to the wind and sidelined strategy in an unnecessary and inflammatory escalation that only further spurred unrest.
California is suing the Trump administration, saying Governor Gavin Newsom never requested the troops.
Cars burning all over the place, people rioting, and by the way, we stopped it. We were able to make it much better.
Yes.
Now protests against ICE are popping up in other major cities like Boston and New York.
I mean, whatever his name is.
Some New Yorkers
Those people
may be
was doing
angry,
too much.
afraid, and ready to express that. New York City will always be a place to peacefully protest, but we will not allow violence and lawlessness.
But ICE says it will continue to carry out raids despite the unrest.
There is no excuse for these individuals to be out here, the illegal aliens out on the street, the people that are preventing us from going out and making these arrests.
Governor Newsom announced he's bringing in 800 more state and local officers. He and President Trump are now trading the blame for who is responsible for the unrest. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Connor, thanks so much.
Yeah,
in the
New
meantime,
York
here, let's
was
bring in
trying to
more
do
expert
their thing
analysis
today,
and
too.
commentary. We're going to be joined right now by former DHS official, now at Heritage Foundation, Laura Reese. She joins me. Laura, thanks for being with us here. I know you've been watching all of this extremely closely over the weekend. We're going to keep our live pictures there up on.
See them burning the American flag, y'all?
Chaos in Los Angeles. Stores looted,
Look
cars
at
burnt
this.
to a crisp, and American flags
And you mean the
torched.
president didn't have to
Anarchists
act?
and
Come
dirt
on.
bikes are waving Mexican flags around LA while the city's engulfed in flames. And they love this country so much that they're waving the flag. So why do they hate the idea of being sent back? This doesn't
Exactly.
look like assimilation.
Thank
This
you.
looks like what it is, an invasion.
An
This all started
invasion.
Friday afternoon. ICE
Didn't I
agents
just
were
say that?
assisting a federal drug and money laundering raid
I
in
just said that.
downtown
It was an
LA.
invasion. This is
When all of
not
a sudden,
protesting. This is an
dozens
invasion.
of protesters showed up and clashed with officers on the scene. The mayor of Los Angeles didn't stop it. She told LAPD to stand down for hours and hung federal agents out to dry. Karen Bass told Trump, "Keep your hands off my Biden migrants."
We are going to fight
These damn
for
Democrats
all
are crazy.
Angelenos, regardless of when they got here, whether they have papers or not. We are a city of immigrants,
You are-
and this
you
impacts
are-
hundreds of thousands
This woman,
of
oh
Angelenos.
my God. Who
While
voted for these
rioters were
people?
raising hell, Democrats chose sides.
ICE get out of LA so that order can be restored.
If they're escalating their tactics, then so are we. When they
Y'all waving a Mexican motherfucking flag. Excuse my
we
language.
gotta show up even stronger.
And we sitting
By
you
Saturday
letting you
morning,
go back
cop
home.
cars were getting pelted with rocks, and officers had
You
to
can't
start
do this in
deploying tear
another
gas.
country.
The media told us, "Don't worry, the protests are mostly peaceful."
Most of the crowds, again, that I saw, that I spoke to, that I was interacting with, these are peaceful people that want to get their message across.
Most of those demonstrators were very peaceful.
The reality is we see peaceful protests
When
launching
you see
in
peaceful,
Los Angeles.
What did happen in 1992 was so different from what we're seeing now. I mean, that was a real riot.
What about the cars on fire? ABC says it's just people having fun.
There's a large group of people. It could turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in there in the wrong way and turn what is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars
burning cars,
a
terrorism,
massive confrontation and altercation
vandalism
between officers and demonstrators.
No, police weren't having fun. The chief of LA County says he was outmanned.
We are overwhelmed as far as the number of people out there engaged in this type of activity and the type of things that they're doing. They'll take backpacks, and the backpack will have a cinder block in it. They have a hammer, and they'll break up the cinder block and use that, pass it around to throw at officers, to throw at cars, and throw at other people.
By 6 o'clock on Saturday, the city was on fire, and Trump had to call in 2,000 National Guard for backup. Now it's up to 4,000. Trump didn't wait for permission from the governor like the last summer of love. Now there's a new policy. When they spit, we hit.
If we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order. It's about law and order. When they spit at people, you know, they spit. That's their new thing. They spit, and worse, you know what they throw at them, right? And when that happens, I have a little statement. They say, they spit, we hit. And I told them, nobody's going to spit on our police officers. Nobody's going to spit on our military.
Protesters liked spitting, but they didn't like getting hit.
But you told me you got caught up in the tear gas as well. Describe what happened to you.
Oh, just tasted a little tear gas. Tasted like fascism.
The media rushed to blame Trump.
didn't really reach this point
Nope,
of
nope.
the
They
scale
can't
and the
blame Trump
intensity
for
of this
this
protest
one.
and the scale and the intensity of the confrontation between protesters and law enforcement until National Guard troops were deployed here today. That very much poured
This is an
gasoline on the
invasion,
flames,
y'all.
and that very much led to the LAPD, acting as in as widespread and aggressive a manner as we saw them acting today.
Now, the press said everything was mostly peaceful until the National Guard showed up. But the New York Times is reporting the National Guard hasn't even engaged with the protesters at all. National Guard troops appeared to largely refrain from engaging with demonstrators. So that debunks the hoax that Trump incited the riots. Karen Bass, who told cops to stand down, said the streets weren't really dangerous until Trump mobilized the Guard.
What we're seeing in Los Angeles is chaos that is provoked by the administration. When you run armored caravans through our streets, you cause fear and you cause panic. And deploying federalized troops is a dangerous escalation.
Even Kamala weighed in, saying deploying National Guard is a dangerous escalation meant to provoke chaos. Yeah, the guy who ran on Law and Order wants to provoke chaos. Makes no sense. Democrats are trying to frame Trump as a heavy-handed dictator,
exactly.
even though the city was on fire before he sent the Guard in. Newsom, who could have called up the Guard himself, is suing Trump for protecting his state.
Fox News is calling it the LA riots. Is it a peaceful protest? What's happening? What are you seeing?
Well, I mean, he's a done deal. Ain't nobody gonna vote that man for president. No,
on your TV tonight.
Not the American
He's exacerbated the conditions. He's, lit the proverbial match. He's putting fuel on this fire ever since he announced.
All right, we want to shift gears quickly here on Live Now from Fox and take you out to what we're watching in New York City unfold.
See how New
Your
York
discretion
started this?
is advised. There in Lower Manhattan, you can see someone being detained, potentially on a bike. Not exactly sure what happened, but let's just listen into this moment here unfold. Plenty of media, plenty of people out with their camera phones witnessing this. You can see a police vehicle, potentially a place this person might be detained. Let's listen into this briefly on Live Now.
These people ain't got no jobs. They just out there just to be instigating stuff. You notice it ain't the immigrants doing it. Most of these people don't even look like immigrants.
Extend the line down! Close the gap, close the gap. Extend the line down! Close it off! Don't lean in!
These are paid agitators.
Don't lean in. You're not going in. Expensive cameras can zoom in. We all know that, okay? Don't lean in. You're going to make more of an issue for yourself. You do it again, sir. I'm telling you, please don't lean in like that. That's what I'm asking you. This is what you're doing.
All right, you're just watching this unfold. This
These are paid
individual
agitators.
being detained. You can see potentially them spitting on one of the police officers.
Oh my
And that
God,
was a
that's
comment that we
disgusting.
heard from President Trump yesterday, talking about if they spit, we hit. Of course, that was comments on the tarmac yesterday. He did make comments earlier today, the president did, about the deployment of the California National Guard there in Los Angeles in Southern California. You can see these are NYPD officers, local and state, there on the ground in Lower Manhattan right now. This individual being detained. They have his bike. I'm not exactly sure what led up to this moment, but some tense moments, tense, dynamic, very fluid moments there in New York City as these protests taking place coast to coast. Again, let's just continue to listen in here on Live Now from Fox to what's going on in real time in the Big Apple.
These are people that probably live in shelters, live out on the street, and some people told them they got a job, they're going to be agitators to recite riots and do all kind of crazy stuff in the street to get things all, crazy. That's all it is. These are not the illegals doing it. It's these these agencies that are paying these people to come out in the street and start all this nonsense. That's why they doing it. Because if you are illegal, you're not going to put yourself out there like that. Because you don't want to be caught by ICE. You don't want to be seen. That's why they not moving the way we should think they should move. Because most of the people that's doing this are people that don't got no job. They mentally ill. They live out on the street. And they radicals. These are radicals. If you really look at it, the real illegals ain't doing it. These are the people that's against deportation. These are the people that are giving deportation, radicals, instigators. They the ones who want people to get out there and say, "Oh, look what Trump is doing. He's taking these people out. He's bringing in the military." And that's why I'm so glad that's why I'm saying I'm so glad that Black Americans
Along with a lot of other governors, Hobbs
you know what I'm
signed
saying? Don't jump on everything and think it's always something that we need to be involved in, because not all of this stuff we need to be involved with. Some of these people are actually Democrats. These are people that's living out on the street. These are criminals. They have felons. They don't care how they break the law. This is for the lawbreakers. I'm not a lawbreaker. I'm going to follow the law. You know, I'm going to try to stay in my lane and follow the law. You know, even if it was Biden's administration, I'm staying in my lane. You know what I'm saying? When you have your patriotism to your country, you are going to, whoever is the leader, you have to follow the leader. That's the way I feel. Even if you don't agree with everything they saying, you just got to stay praying and do what's right and lay low. Just lay low. Don't get caught up with these people. These are people in the country now that don't have jobs. They live in shelters. They just are, paid by some agency to get out and do all this nonsense, to be agitating. Because if they really was real illegals, they not going to be out there, because they don't want to get caught by ICE. They're going to be in hiding. Ain't no, unless they really, you know what I'm saying, waving. This is just to get provoked, to provoke things. And who's paying them? These agencies, these radicals. Look at these people. These people don't got no jobs. Because if they did, they won't be out there doing all of that. Or putting themselves out there like that. They got families to take care of and feed and bills to pay or whatever. They're not going to get themselves caught up in this nonsense. The real people that probably are illegal immigrants that's in the United States that don't want to go back to their country, they're not going to be out there like that. They're not. These are imposters. That's why he's not moving like that. That's why they didn't say, that's why they just like arrested him and letting them vandalize him. But they're going to be investigated. They're going to find out who is the leader behind all of this stuff. And those people are going to be taken in and investigated and be looked into to try to overturn the government like that.
I kind of see this as this to me.
These radical people. They call these people, when they trying to overturn the government, is a word used for them. And even in the Word of God, it says you're not supposed to be doing stuff like that. You could do things in peace, like get your point across in peace. Now, there are some out there who are trying to, talk about their own experience, from where they from, why they here in America, they own it, American experience or whatever, and why they fighting for their right to be here or whatever like that. But then there's some people that these people don't belong in that group. That's why you have to be careful of how you going to go in and arrest people, because some of these people out here, these people were brought in, criminals from their own country to come here, that the Biden let them come through the border and all this other stuff, and paid them for the Democrat Party or whatever like that, and they over here and they trying to get them out of here. And these people right here don't even care, because if they did, these are the criminals, okay? The radical ones who don't even want to follow the own laws in their own country. They radicals. They even breaking the law in their own country. They know they ain't gonna wave no flag like that. It going who when they right mind, and who's a good abiding person, a good citizen, gonna go out there knowing they in another country, gonna be waving a flag from another country and burning the American flag. Those of us who have common sense will know that. These are homeless people living in the streets. Some of them probably living in the shelter. Some of them came here illegally, and they out there. Not all of them, but some of them. And they just want to put on this thing to try to overturn the government, trying to, protest against Trump and come against Trump for they can come in this country and invade us. And
I have 2 feet to the same thing.
but anyway, y'all, I would like to stay longer with you, but I gotta go. I'll talk with you if anything else comes up tomorrow. If God's willing, I will be back. So you all stay safe and peace. And thank you, Frankie, for coming in tonight, helping me out.